All right, welcome back. So the first story that we have today is about some EKPA. Some EKPA. We have a special. I don't know. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Is it EKPA or EKPA? Abi
Um,
EKPA Denny. What is
w-
going
well,
on?
um, I mean, I wouldn't know the proper pronunciation, but I've had people pronounce it as Sam Ekpa.
Okay.
So,
Either way.
our apologies if we do not get it right.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, so there's a special report here on Punch News Nigeria, and I'm going to read that. Then I would like to learn a little bit more about this particular character today. EKPA's arrest, critical step against globalized terrorism, and the recent arrest of Simon. It's not Samuel, it's Simon. Simon EKPA.
Simon Ekpa
Yeah, a Finnish Nigerian. Finnish as in not finished though, as in like
from Finland,
Finland. Aha. A
born
Finnish
originally born in Nigeria, but naturalized
in
into the
Finland.
citizenship of Finland.
Got it. All right. So a Finnish Nigerian separatist leader and self-proclaimed prime minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile marks a significant milestone in the fight against transnational terrorism. Finnish authorities detained EKPA and four others on allegations of inciting crimes with terrorist intent and financing terrorism. The charges stem from EKPA's role in orchestrating violence in southeast Nigeria from his base in Finland, primarily through incendiary social media campaigns. EKPA's activities have long been a source of contention. As a prominent figure in the separatist indigenous people of Biafra, he has championed the call for an independent Biafran state in Nigeria. His rhetoric escalated in recent years with explicit endorsement of violence. Finnish authorities have linked EKPA to coordinated attacks targeting civilians and government forces, with investigations tracing some of these activities back to 2021. So I have a question for you. First of all,
Right.
who is Simon Ekpa, and what is his relations or relationship to, I think,
With
Namdi Kano in
okay.
particular? And what happened? Why are we talking about him today?
Well, I cannot pretend um, to have a know-it-all um, situation about the structure and the operations of uh,
IPOB.
the yeah. I mean the IPOB organization, Independent People of Biafra, so to say, IPOB. Um, you will remember that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu himself, the original convener of IPOB, he
Mm-hmm.
used to live in the United Kingdom. And I can confirm to you firsthand that the campaign that was initiated by Mr. Nnamdi Kanu had sympathies all over the world. At least I have visited with a lawyer in Kansas City, somewhere in Kansas City here, and in his office, I could see the flag of the United States. I could see the flag of Nigeria, and I could see the flag of Biafra. That
Mm.
is, if in Atlant, as far as Kansas City, whether the Missouri side or Kansas City, Kansas side, as far as this city, this greater Kansas City is from Nigeria, such sympathies are deep seated with some people here. So the point I'm making is that yes, anybody may want to pretend that this is some movement by certain elements that Nigeria would love to describe as disgruntled. in the usual official cliche of the government of Nigeria. They have people who are really convinced that there have been issues of real marginalization. And concerning the relationship between EKPA and Nnamdi Kanu, my findings show that yes, EKPA was a disciple of Nnamdi Kanu, but to the extent that
it was no longer. It was.
We would not say. I mean, there may be attempts made by certain elements to dissociate themselves from the brand of self-rule or self-determination for people of Igbo extraction. Because really, what is known as Biafra is a word that was formed out of Igbo word Bia, come, and then Fra from Efik Ibibio thing. So what used to be eastern region of Nigeria at the peak of the Nigerian Civil War was balkanized, was further broken into several states like its central and so on and so forth, so that they could weaken the hold of the authorities that were seated in Enugu, at some point Uzuka, and then later maybe Okigwe or the capital of Biafra moved around severally with the pushback from Nigerian federal troops in those days. So ultimately, in order to downsize, the government of Nigeria actually played ethnic card. And remember accusations against the leader of the Biafran consciousness then, General, Nigerian government said Lieutenant Colonel, but later I think it was restored to full military honors alongside the later General Philip Effiong. These were people that Nigerian side referred to as colonels within the Nigerian army. But the point we're making here is that there were allegations that sub-nationalities that identified with the Biafran cause were actually oppressed under the leadership of the Central Biafran Authority. So the government of Nigeria was able to play up that card that if Biafra had succeeded, then it would have been massive oppression and repression for the other ethnic nationalities within that defunct Eastern region's expression, or the geographical expression that was then known. So the problem of the larger Nigerian society distrust between the federating units and ethnic nationalities was also at play within the defunct Biafra Republic. So I went that historical lane to let you know that the expression Biafra may not really apply anymore. But what the government of Nigeria should have been focusing more on would be the stated objective of 3 hours after the Nigerian Civil War. That is rehabilitation, reconstruction, and reconciliation. The 3 hours of reconciliation, reconstruction, rehabilitation. That was not done. Even after the country, the warring factions, the warring side said they had ceased the fire, that the war had stopped. The peace that came was poorly managed. And so today, the people of Eastern Nigeria, that is, people that you would identify as original Biafran dreamers, they feel like they are marginalized within Nigeria. And it's so difficult for people to shift in the arrangement that should include every geopolitical zones, probably 6 now or more than that, or all the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. Make sure that nobody is sidelined, everybody is carried along.
Mm-hmm.
Each time the Igbo person, a Nigerian for that matter, but of Igbo extraction, wants to aspire to the Nigerian presidency, you see all kinds of forces, all kinds of resistance. And the latest such situation, such drama, was the instance in which Mr. Peter Obi became the flag bearer for the Labour Party. And you saw what happened, the ethnic sentiments that were pushed in places like Lagos and elsewhere. Vis-a-vis, in some places in Igbo land too. So distrust is everywhere in Nigeria. So if all these things got people like Nnamdi Kanu and later Simon Ekpa agitated, and they're calling for a sovereign Eastern region, because I don't also want to go there. Because
sorry, sorry to interject there, right? I have one question for you in about 60 seconds. But this title says major blow to global terrorism network. Is that do you think that's an exaggeration?
It's hyperbolic. It's grossly exaggerated, because in truth, and I'm being careful here, the people that have been accused of terrorism, they themselves claim that they are agitating for self-determination under international law, international protocol. As far as I know, agitation for self-determination cannot be the same thing as terrorism.
Okay.
And we need to be very careful how we put tags, how we brand each other in Nigeria. The fact that they do not agree with us today do not agree with the rest of Nigerian nation today, does not make them permanent foes or enemies. So I've seen the attempt to conduct media trial, the excitement on people, on the side of certain people who pretend to speak for the government. And I shake my head. It's so ridiculous today in Nigeria that you say anything seems to be will be pinned on you. Look at the ridiculous misadventure by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, just because the former Nigerian president and one-time military head of state, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, spoke at Yale University and describing whatever is going on in Nigeria and the way certain judges have been compromised. These are true. These claims are true, that everybody knows.
Okay.
Jimoh Ibrahim said Obasanjo was guilty of a mutiny. The same way, already people in the media are finding Simon Ekpa guilty. And remember, if Nigeria is asking for the extradition of Simon Ekpa to come to Nigeria for trial and all that, it's not going to be a smooth sail, because Nigeria has no such protocol with Finland. And then everything will go on trial. And even if that exists, Nigeria must be able to convince the international community, particularly the government of Finland, that Simon Ekpa, whenever is allowed to be extradited to Nigeria, would have fair trial. And from the antecedents concerning human rights breaches, it doesn't look like Finland will be in a hurry to want to extradite, to want to allow his own citizen to go back to Nigeria to face that kind of trial. So nobody should conclude on that note that, this is a blow to terrorism financing. And so this excitement on the arrest of Simon Ekpa, why is there no such excitement about the arrest of people who are behind banditry, terrorism up north? In spite of, we are not hearing from Mr. Tukano anymore.
Let's leave that question, that last question you just asked, let's leave it so that everybody else in the comments can join the conversation.
Thank you.
Kind of run out of time there. If you want to ask a question one more time, sir. Why is it that that they're not asking the same question about, you were saying the last question?
About people who are behind banditry, kidnapping, what's it called? Boko
Right.
Haram terrorism elsewhere, and all kinds of terror being visited on Nigeria every day.
Yeah, right. That's a good question. Let's join the conversation in the comment section, please.
So people should comment, do they see this as outright terrorism or agitation for self-determination on the part of people from southeastern Nigeria, or they are even asking for a stop to further marginalization of that political zone.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right. Hit the like button, follow, subscribe, share everywhere. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have some other trendy stories. We'll be right back.